Hello, and welcome to today's live coaching call and community conversation. Today, we are going to be talking about the Lumen, the new metabolic tracking device. It's actually not actually new, but it is kind of like a new little craze going around especially the intermittent fasting and kind of metabolism health kind of arena, and we're going to talk about it here today. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a rundown of what the Lumen Metabolic Tracker does, why it's important to us as aging women, and I'm going to share with you a little bit about how the app works and also how I use this device to help keep myself metabolically flexible as well. So welcome. If you are new, my name is Diane Parham. I am a fasting mindset coach, so I help you manage your decision-making process, your thoughts, your emotions, your lifestyle around what it is that you say you want with intermittent fasting and how it is we can use it to age successfully. And I am a huge fan of the Lumen. And yes, you can use the Lumen and still intermittent fast. We're going to talk about that a little bit today as well. So do me a favor in the comments section. Let me know if you're familiar with the Lumen. Maybe you're a user of the Lumen, or maybe you have no idea what the Lumen is, but you do want to track your metabolic flexibility or know if you're metabolically flexible. Just leave me a little comment and kind of let me know where you stand on this subject, so that way I'll kind of know how to address a little bit of the discussion today. So this is going to be an informative discussion, but we'll open it up at the end for some conversation as well. If you are using the Lumen and you're feeling frustrated, hopefully this will help settle some things for you and clear up maybe some frustrations you might have. And then again, always feel free to put your questions in the comment section. I will address those at the end. So we are going to have today's discussion as a beginners to the Lumen type of conversation. And so what it is, how to get started, and some advice that I give to women who are wanting to track their metabolism, don't know where to start, and don't know what to do with the numbers that they're getting from their Lumen. So that's how we're going to address today's conversation as well. Okay, so I'm going to present some slides, and I also have a little video, like I said, of how the app works on your phone and how to breathe and all that kind of stuff. I'll do that at the end. But let's get started with what metabolism is, or what metabolic flexibility is, and why it's important to us, especially as aging women, right? So we know as we age, our metabolism just naturally slows down on us. That's one of probably the most frustrating aspects of going through this perimenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal season, and just aging in general, is everything just seems to start slowing down on us. But we do have the opportunity to be in control of our metabolism, and that does come through being more metabolically flexible. And that just basically means that we're able to utilize the energy that our body has in storage. So we're able to pull out energy from the right resources and be able to switch between carb utilization and fat utilization. Now, everyone thinks that metabolism is just a combination of what you do with your exercise and what it is that you're consuming when you eat. So it kind of has almost the likeness of calories in, calories out. But there's so many other facets to metabolic flexibility that I think that we don't consider when we're really trying to either lose weight, change our body composition, or just be generally overall more healthful in the state or season that we're in. So there's 5 things that I really emphasize with metabolic flexibility that we have to take into consideration. Sleep, I believe, is probably the most important and probably one of the biggest influencers of our metabolic flexibility, especially when using something like a Lumen. We have nutrition, we have our fitness, hydration, and stress. So all 5 of these areas will be affected when you're using something like a Lumen and you're really trying to figure out from the inside out via information that's provided to you what's going on with your body internally, right? So those are the 5 things I really like women to look at and really be honest about in their life when they're using especially something like a Lumen that's going to give them feedback. The other thing that we have to take into consideration is our current health status, right? So if you are currently managing a sugar-related disease, or you're currently managing an autoimmune disorder, those things also affect our overall internal health. And those could be indicators from something that's going to provide you feedback like a Lumen and where your numbers are. And this is where I want us to really get back to the mindset aspect of why it is we would purchase something that's going to give us feedback. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second. So those are the 5 areas that I say we really want to think about, right? The other thing we want to consider, and I know this is one of those hot topics, when you're using something like a Lumen, the feedback that you're going to get has to do with your macronutrients, right? The energies that's going into your body. And how your body is going to convert that energy and utilize it is going to determine what readings you're getting on a Lumen. So macronutrients, quick review, are carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And each one of those macronutrients carries a caloric value, right? So that would make up your total caloric intake for the day. So just a quick review of that for those of us who are maybe frustrated with some of the feedback you're getting from your Lumen. We got to go back and figure out, like, why is it we're getting this feedback, right? So the 2 things that are really manipulated when using a Lumen are carbohydrates and fat, because those are the 2 things that we're getting feedback on when we breathe into this device. What I've noticed for myself in tracking how my macronutrients vary from day to day is my protein suggestion is pretty constant. Like, that one pretty much stays the same. And I believe that's based on the track that I'm on with my Lumen, and I'll share with you guys how you figure that out here in just a second. But we want to remember that macronutrients is the energy that's going in, right? And then how our body converts that is how we utilize energy coming out. And that's going to be the carbohydrates and the fats that is red when you blow into your Lumen. What I really like to recommend for women, especially for those of us who don't like to count macros or manage macros, or don't want to have to bother with calorie counting, all of those kind of things, is once you get a general idea, and what I have experienced with my Lumen is that my numbers are pretty consistent. They just vary between how many carbohydrates I take in a day or how much fat I take in a day based on the feedback I'm getting when I breathe into my device. And so once you get a general idea of what the recommendations are for your metabolic flexibility, what you need to do is just rinse and repeat those same type of meals throughout your week so that you don't have to worry about measuring and weighing and doing all those things that we don't want to do anymore. You just get a general idea. And if you're pretty close, you're going to be pretty good about making sure that you're utilizing the right energy sources and you're becoming more metabolically flexible. So I encourage rinsing and repeating for sure. So there are 3 tracks to get yourself to being metabolically flexible within the Lumen. One is, are you just like sustaining or wanting to improve your overall metabolic health? The other one is weight loss. So maybe you're wanting to lose some weight. And the other one is fitness performance. So are you maybe an elite athlete or someone who's training for something and you want to make sure that you have the proper fuel coming in and you're utilizing the proper fuel to make sure that you can stay in the game with what it is you're doing with your fitness. So 3 tracks. It's really important to make sure that you actually choose the right track, because the recommendations that the Lumen is going to give you is going to be based on which track you selected. The fitness performance track does have a variable with protein in it. So depending on whether you want to just improve endurance or you want to improve body composition or you're trying to build muscle, will make that protein variable in your macronutrients different based on, again, what it is your desired result is. So make sure you pick the right track if you're starting out with Lumen so that it's giving you the feedback that's going to get you to what it is we say here in this community all the time, what it is you really want, right? So we want to make sure that we are clear on that. Okay, so what I did is I tracked today for you. So this is very, very current information. And I'm going to break down what my readings are on a Lumen and how it is I understand what's going on with my own body chemistry. So Mondays for me, I almost always wake up a 3 on my Lumen. And I'll explain to you in a minute what that means if you're new to the Lumen. And it's usually because I get a shortened amount of sleep from Sunday to Monday, because my daughter's usually up getting ready for school late on Sunday night and we stay up with her. And then she gets up early on Monday morning to go to her cross country practice. And last night I happened to get about 6 hours of sleep. I know because I track my sleep also, that's about an hour and a half short of what I really need to get a full restorative night of sleep. So I woke up in a 3, which basically means that my body is utilizing carbohydrates and fats as energy. And ideally, what we want with the Lumen is a 2 or a 1, meaning you're burning more or utilizing or converting more of your carbohydrates into a fat energy. So I know that going in, it doesn't freak me out as soon as, tonight rolls around and we go to bed a little earlier and my body shifts into the weeknight sleep schedule. My lumen numbers come down naturally because sleep, like I said at the very beginning, is one of the most important aspects of really becoming metabolically flexible, because when you're sleeping is when your body does the best converting of energy. So then I worked out, right? I had an hour of a low zone 2, zone 2, low zone 3 training. Again, this is what I talk about here all the time, right? That endurance type of training where you're at a lower intensity for a longer period of time. So you utilize the energy that you have in storage. My lumen number came down. So I went to more of a fat utilization. I used up the carbohydrates that I had available through my exercise session. I had some black coffee. And then about, like 2 hours later, I tested on my lumen again and I'm in full fat utilization. So this is where I really like to encourage my intermittent fasting ladies to understand how your own body chemistry works, right? There are a lot of people who don't think that intermittent fasting is good for metabolic flexibility. And I always like to encourage you to do what works for you. Live a lifestyle that allows you to empower yourself around food and what it is that you want to live. And my body just does better in a fasted state than it does in a fed state. So I stay fasted post workout. And you can see from those numbers, I naturally came down and now I'm in full fat burning mode. So why would I want to break that and then eat something after I just got done working out, right? My numbers would have went the other way. They would have gone up to like a 4 again. And I'm going to explain to you what that means here in a second as well. So don't be afraid to practice intermittent fasting. What we want to make sure that we're doing with metabolic flexibility is not going into extremes on one end or the other, right? So we don't want to become so extreme with fasting that we don't allow enough opportunity to get the macronutrients back in our body that we need. So we don't want to drain the tank so much we don't have energy to sustain what it is that we want to sustain. But then we also don't want to consume so much, right, that we have this backup and we can't drain the tanks. So we have to find that happy medium. Now, I've been intermittent fasting for about 6 years. My body just knows what to do in a fasted state. It's not a stressed out state for my body. So I thrive there and I can really control how I want to utilize the energy that I have in storage. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Let me see who I have here. I bought one last month that haven't set it up or started using it. Okay, awesome. So we're going to go ahead and go through how to get started and all that. Just bought one, had it for 2 weeks. Awesome. Why considering selling it? Okay, don't consider selling it until we're done for today. Okay, so the Lumen, it is very, very scientific, right? This is high-end science for the everyday person. And that's where I think a lot of people get really frustrated, right? This is literally like having a nutritionist in your hand. I think the problem and the frustration that comes from the community in general of population is that we don't do the research and we don't treat this like it's a hobby, right? We blow in this device and we think it's going to give us a magical number that we want it to read, but we don't consider why it is we're getting the readings that we're reading. I can tell you that I don't have perfect metabolic flexibility, and that's because I don't live a perfect life, right? I have some nights I don't get enough sleep. I have some nights I'm stressed out. I have some days I don't feel well, and those numbers are always indicating how my body is feeling. So I generally come in at about a 12 to a 15 on my metabolic flexibility. And I'll show you what the ranges are in a second. So I highly recommend letting go of perfection or trying to have the best, most perfect, consistent metabolic readings with your Lumen. I highly recommend using this as feedback as to what is going on with your body and then adjust accordingly. So this is very, very high-end science type of stuff that is in the everyday person's hand. So it starts with a breath, right? So you wake up in the morning and you breathe into your lumen. It's going to give you feedback as to what happened from the last time you ate until you decided to breathe in your lumen in the morning. And that is the energy conversion or the metabolic flexibility. That's probably the most important for us, right? We want to know how our body is converting energy when we're sleeping. Again, sleep amount, right? And the quality of sleep that you're getting is going to be a big influencer in the number that you get in the morning. It is not just about what you ate. It is also about how your body is resting and recovering. So make sure you're tracking your sleep as well, especially if you're feeling frustrated with your lumen numbers. Okay, one of the things that I don't like about the advertising that is used to the general population is that this is advertised as something that will hack your metabolism. And what I want to tell everyone is that this will do nothing to your metabolism. This is going to give you feedback. You are the person that's going to make choices based on the feedback that you're receiving from this device. If you don't make the right choices, you're not going to get the outcome that you're desiring. So this is where I say, if you're going to invest a couple $100s in a device that is very scientifically driven, you have to make sure that you are doing the homework side of this and really listening to the signs and signals that your body is sending you, so that this can provide you the feedback that will result in the changes that you're hoping for with your metabolism. This will not hack anything. Your decision-making process is going to be the thing that hacks the feedback that you get from your lumen. So make sure you're keeping that in mind. It's not any different than anything else that we've invested in for weight loss or physique changes or fitness programs or any of those kind of things. Purchasing something doesn't create the change. Implementing the thing that you invested in and really making conscious decisions about what it is you say you want is where we're going to make the magic happen. And the magic is where the change is occurring, right? So make sure you're being honest with yourself about what you have going on with your lumen. Okay, so metabolic flexibility. When you're metabolically flexible, you will lose weight, right? When you're metabolically flexible, you won't have those cravings and snacking type of tendencies throughout the day. You will be able to go a pretty significant amount of time without having those hypoglycemic type of occurrences throughout the day where you feel like you have to eat, because your body is going to be so fine-tuned in converting and utilizing the energy that you have in storage. Your energy and your mood will be like this throughout the day. We call this the energized sense of calm, right? Because you're always going to have energy available for your body to use, because it's going to be converting it when it's there, and it's going to convert the right energy into the right resource when you need it most. Again, it's going to improve your overall health. It's going to enhance weight maintenance. So when you get this down pat and you understand the macronutrient recommendations and how your exercise is affecting you and how your sleep is affecting you, then weight going up and down, the fluctuations of your weight will be minimized, because you're going to be able to use and control, use the feedback and then control what it is that's going on in your body as a whole. And then again, what we talk about here a lot is reversing sugar-related, aka age-related diseases. And that's because you're also going to be able to utilize your energy efficiently and not keep it in storage. And that storage is where we create backup, and the backup is where we end up finding ourselves in trouble with a lot of these sugar-related diseases. Okay, so let's see. Love the Lumen, very interesting. I bought one last month, but haven't set it up or started using it yet. Okay, so for my new friends who maybe just got the Lumen and don't know what to do with it, here's what I recommend doing when you first get this out of the box and you're considering, how it is you're going to implement this in your life. What I always recommend to women that I'm working with is use your Lumen for 2 straight weeks, because it takes 2 weeks for you to get your metabolic flex score. We're going to talk about that in a second. So 2 straight weeks of breathing every morning in your device before you change anything else in your life. Don't change your nutrition. Don't change your workouts. Don't change anything. Get a clear picture of where your metabolic flexibility is right now, so that you'll know what changes to make when you get that first flex score, right? So everything from day 1 to that 2-week period is just a guessing game, because Lumen doesn't know you and your body chemistry yet. So give yourself 2 full weeks. don't change a thing. Then after you get your metabolic flex score, again, it goes from a 0 to a 21. I think 0 to 7 is low metabolic flexibility. I think 8 to 14 is medium. And then 15 to 21 is high metabolic flexibility. Find a range, just like we do with intermittent fasting, where you feel like you're going to be able to look and feel your best, but also live your most authentic life, right? Because if you become too strict with your nutrition or too strict with your fitness or too strict about your life in general, this will become a drag for you and you'll end up putting it in a drawer or giving it away to someone. And this is one of the best tools we have on the market today to really control how it is we're aging and what's going on with our metabolic health. So I highly recommend 2 straight weeks. Then when you get your metabolic flexibility score, again, figure out what range you want to live in. Do you want to have perfect metabolic flexibility? Is that important to you? Can you be in a range that's somewhere between middle and high? And if you come back with a very low metabolic flexibility, that's when we want to start really making some significant changes that you can stick with consistently over time so that we can increase that and increase your overall well-being, right? Because we know metabolic flexibility is where we are our healthiest. So that's what I recommend for my friends who are just starting out. Now, what I want to do really quickly is I want to share with you guys a quick little video of how to use your Lumen. It is used with your phone and it is used with this. And I'm going to walk you through what it looks like when you are actually using your device. Okay, so let me stop that right there. Okay, so when you start with your Lumen in the morning, right, you're going to turn it on. You're going to have your phone app set up on your Lumen, and then it's going to tell you to sit and relax. One of the biggest frustrations I hear from women is they can't figure out how to breathe in this thing. So on the Lumen app, I'm going to show you in a second, there's a place where you can actually practice breathing. What you need to do is make sure that you're sitting down and you're relaxed. It's a steady inhale in for 10 seconds. You hold your breath for 15, and then you're going to exhale back out. And it looks like this. Let's see if we can get to this quickly. And it's going to tell you also
Inhale deeply through your lumen.
to breathe. Now watch how slowly this goes. You're going to steady breathe in till it gets to the green. You're going to hold your breath for 10 seconds.
Exhale in 3, 2, 1.
And then what you want to do on the exhale is maintain a steady flow of exhale so that that little bouncing ball in there stays in that gray area. I don't know what it is about me, but I have to breathe twice every single time. My husband only has to breathe once. If you're that person who has to breathe twice every single time, it's not that there's anything wrong with you or there's anything wrong with the Lumen. It's just requiring you to breathe twice.
Inhale deeply
So
through
you
your
go
lumen.
through this process one more time, right? You inhale slowly for the 10 seconds, wait till
Hold your
that
breath.
ball turns to the green, you hold it, and then you're going to exhale again. Then what the Lumen is going to do is going to give you a reading of where you are at the time that you were breathing. So during this example here, it was post meal. So it's recommended to take a breath about 60 to 90 minutes after you have a meal to see if your body's converting the energy that you put into it into the proper utilization, right? So for me, that was post meal and I got a 4. So here again is where, let me pull that back. Here again is where I want you guys to think and not get frantic about how it is you're using your Lumen. What we want to see with the Lumen is energy exchange rates happening, right? So a 1 or a 2 or possibly even a 3 in the morning if you're like me and sometimes you get shortchanged on your sleep. That's what we want to see. Then when we get done with our workout, we want to see if our body was able to get into that fat utilization mode. So we want to see the number stay down. So for me this morning, I started at a 3, I went to a 2, and then I stayed in fat burning mode and ended up in a 1. This example here, I started my morning in a 1. I stayed at a 1 post workout because I worked out in a zone 2. And then after eating, my body shifted its energy utilization from fat to carbohydrates because I just broke my fast and had an energy exchange, right? So now my body's using efficiently the energy that I put in it. And then before I went to bed, after I had my last feast for the evening, I tested again and I was at 4 again. And then what we want to do is just rinse and repeat that cycle, right? Low numbers in the morning, higher numbers after we feast or we break our fast or before we go to bed. And if you're seeing that cycle, low AM, high PM, low AM, high PM, then you know you're on track to getting your body to that higher flex score with your lumen. So let me know in the comment section, is this making sense? Does this feel less stressful to you? And is this something that you think you can go back to and try again? So the lumen also breaks down what these levels mean, right? So when you're burning fat for energy, you're at about 84% to 100% of fat utilization, and it breaks it all the way down to the opposite when you're full carb utilization. Again, metabolic flexibility is an indication of how well your body uses fat and carbohydrates. One of the things that we have found through, now we have so much information available to us with the keto diet and people who are extreme fasting for long periods of time, meaning months or years at a time, is that and a lot of us women know this as well, coming up in the in the 80s and the 90s with don't eat fat, it'll make you fat, eat every 2 hours, and we all ended up with insulin resistance and pre-diabetic states, right? That going too far in either end can be problematic for us. And this is where the lumen has been very, very like eye-opening, right, to a lot of us, because we can figure out that we can use carbohydrates and fat efficiently if we're doing things in a sustained manner. So going too extreme with like not consuming carbohydrates puts your body in a state where it forgets how to utilize them, and you're really good at utilizing fat, but then you don't know how to tap into your carbs for energy. The opposite is the case if we're eating too many carbohydrates and not enough fat. We're really good at utilizing carbohydrates and running on sugar, but we don't know how to tap into our fat stores and become fat adaptive. So we want to have like this happy medium in the middle. And this is where the feedback from the lumen is so easy for us, right? Because it's going to give us all the information that we need based on what's happening in our body in that moment and the decisions we want to make with what we're going to do with our macronutrients. Okay, so hopefully this is making some sense for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the app a little bit more so you can see all of these readings right from you breathing in your app and going through the process. What I also want to share with you guys, because again, this is where a lot of people get frustrated. Having the lumen and the app on your phone is literally like having a nutritionist in your pocket. So if you're one of those people who is walking around going, I wish someone would tell me what to eat, you have that available right here in your phone, right? The lumen has so much information in it. All you need to do is every day just click on something and read an article about macronutrients or protein or carb utilization or fat utilization. And it's literally like having a nutritionist in your pocket. So that little button right there in the middle, the explore area, is where you tap to get into all of these insights about your body and what it is that's going on and how it is you can manipulate your own metabolic flexibility through carb utilization and fat utilization. The other thing I wanted to show you guys as well is at the bottom of that explore, if you're having trouble with breathing in your lumen, you're finding that that is frustrating for you, there is a place that you can practice, and there is a tutorial about how it is to breathe properly in your lumen. So you'll need to follow these 4 steps. We are relaxed, right? We want to make sure that we have a low heart rate. So you don't want to be running around doing a bunch of things and then sit down and try to breathe in your lumen, because an elevated heart rate is going to increase your numbers and give you kind of a false reading on your lumen. So it's a perfect opportunity to sit down and relax and just take a nice deep breath. So make sure that you're using the tutorials that are in your Lumen app as well, so that you can get really good and comfortable with taking a deep breath. It's not something we think about, right? breathing is just something that we do. We don't have to think about it. But when we sit down and have to do it in a device, we get nervous about it. And so just make sure you're relaxed. Just take a deep inhale, take a deep exhale, and you'll be able to get a nice smooth reading on your device. Okay, so we have the tutorial in there for those of you who need it. And again, we're going to go through and we can see that there's plenty of information here. It'll tell you how to train your body to burn fat. It will tell you how to train your body to burn carbohydrates, but you have to go in and do the work. This is why I say if you're going to invest a couple $100 in a device to give you feedback, make sure you're going through the device and learning how to use it and how to manipulate what you need to manipulate in your own body. All of the information is there for you in your app. Okay, so what do we do? Let's see what else we got in here on the app. Everything that you need about you and what's going on with you, again, is right here in this how to win with the Lumen. It'll give you insights about how to unlock your day, what feedback you put in from yesterday. If you have an Apple Watch, it'll just upload your sleep. It'll upload what you have going on with your workout. So you just have to connect your Apple Health app to that. It will tell you what your morning Lumen is. It will give you a breakdown of your daily nutritional plan. And then we'll also tell you what your flex score is. So I talked a little bit about the flex score, and that the flex score, like I said, is a 2-week feedback from your device because you took a breath every day in the morning, and it will tell you where you're starting from. Again, don't make any significant life changes until you get your flex score. Then what I want you to do is make changes so that you can manipulate the number. And I say manipulate because you're going to be making choices on your caloric intake or your macro intake, however it is you want to break that down, and what you're going to be doing with your fitness and what you're going to be doing with your sleep and how you're managing your stress and what are you doing to stay hydrated to make sure that you can tweak that number so you have those lower numbers when you wake up and the conversion while you sleep and those larger numbers after you consume a meal, knowing that your body has made the energy conversion. So again, 0 to 6 is low flexibility, 7 to 14 is medium flexibility, and 15 to 21 is high flexibility. I am very honest about my flexibility. I usually stay between a 12 and a 15. I don't have perfect metabolic flexibility. I don't have a perfect life. And so mine is always shifting up and down. And I always know what the culprit is, right? When I'm going up and when I'm going down. So it makes sense once you understand how your body chemistry is working and you've done your homework and have read some of the information that's available to you in the Lumen app. So it is literally like having a nutritionist in your pocket. Okay, the other area I wanted to share with you guys is this Lumen's basic area right here. Again, this is full of so many articles for you guys on how it is you want to change your metabolic makeup, what yesterday's numbers meant, what kind of workouts you want to do, how fasting might be affecting you. It's all available in your app. So don't feel frustrated about the numbers you think you should be getting that you're not getting. It's probably that you just haven't been informed enough to make the right choices so that you can actually get the numbers that you're hoping for. Another thing I wanted to point out to all of you who are using the Lumen who might not know that this is available to you is this Lumen support area. There's so many amazing articles about nutrition and metabolic flexibility and fasting and macronutrients and sleep and how that affects all of us. So make sure you're utilizing the nutritionist in your pocket when you get this device and what's available to you on your app as well. And then the other area I wanted to point out for you guys that you might not know about is they have nutritionists on staff at Lumen who are ready and available to answer any questions that you might have. So you don't have to go to random strangers in Facebook groups and get advice from people who aren't qualified to give you advice, right? They also have access to getting into your Lumen information as well. So they can give you very direct feedback based on you, the numbers that you're getting, the data that you're inputting into your app, and they can give you a plan to help you get to the next level. So make sure you're using that support area as well. It is free to you as a Lumen user. And so again, you have that nutritionist in your pocket and someone that's going to be able to give you detailed advice based on the information that you are providing to the Lumen and the feedback that you are getting. Okay, so let me see if we have any questions that I can answer for you. Like I said, I love the Lumen because it's taking the guesswork out, right? And I'm a certified exercise nutrition coach, and I love this. Like, I love to see that I have something that's going to tell me what I need to decide to do based on what my body is doing on that day. No more guesswork, no more throwing darts at the wall, hoping that the decisions we're making about our food are going to be the decisions that are going to get us the result we want. This is going to give you the feedback you need on any given day, and I absolutely love it. Okay, so let me see if there's anything I can help you guys with. Okay, love the Lumen. Okay, I already did that one. Not familiar with Lumen, but was just looking at the Verta MD supported app, but not yet supported by my insurance. Still very early on that. I have Keto Mojo, but never figured it out. Okay, so the Keto Mojo is completely different. The Keto Mojo tests your blood and the glucose and or ketones you have available in your blood, where this is feedback from CO2. So it's a breath analyzer, right? And so this is going to be a completely different reading than what you get in your blood glucose. I also test blood glucose and ketones. I do what I call GKI training or testing 3 days out of every month. And I just see how long it takes for my body to get to a certain GKI level. So you can use both. It just depends on what it is you're looking for sure. But just so you know that they are definitely different devices. I have a Lumen, used it for a while, then just stopped. Okay. Rose, I highly recommend getting back to it. The thing with this, like any other thing that we have going on in our life, is we want to make sure we create a habit for it, right? It's like drinking water, brushing your teeth, making your bed, all of those things. We just have to create a series, well, I call them habit triggers, right? Where one thing like triggers us to do the next thing. So this is very just part of my day now. When I wake up in the morning, I wake up, I brush my teeth. I brush my teeth with water because I fast, and so I don't want to break my fast in the morning. So I just brush my teeth with water. I go drink my bottle of water. I get my daughter off to school. I sit down and give myself about 5 minutes to just relax. I breathe into my Lumen. I get my result. I go on my day and I start my workout. So it is just one of those things that you have to just kind of build into your routine. If you have a busy morning and maybe you have to drive to work and you don't have time before you leave the house to do your Lumen, just throw it in your purse. Drive to work, sit in your car. You're already at a rested state. Do your breaths before you get out of the car and start your work day or walk into work. And then that way you'll know and you'll have a plan set up for yourself before you get your day going too far. Let's see. Sandy, good afternoon, Di. Good afternoon. Hello. Kathy, good morning. I'm in your current class thinking about it. This should help me decide. Okay, for sure. Okay, what I recommend if you're just starting out with intermittent fasting, I always recommend get that down first. I fasted practice intermittent fasting for 3 years before I tested anything, right? One, the Lumen wasn't available to me at that time, but I just trusted the instincts of my body and really wanted to just lean into what intermittent fasting was going to do to reverse my insulin resistance and my pre-diabetic state. So if you think you can, I don't know why my watch keeps going off. If you think you can handle it mentally and emotionally, I say go ahead and jump in. If you feel like it's just one more thing that's going to drag you down, I would get the fasting part of it down first and the feasting part of it down before you implement a new tool, just so you're not exhausting yourself. One of the things that really leads people down the path of quitting things is that we jump into this overhaul our entire life in one shot. And what I really think we should do is get one thing down first before we add another layer. So get your intermittent fasting down, get your feasting down, and how your feasting choices are really serving what it is you say you want. Then when you put in something like a Lumen, it doesn't seem like a chore because everything else is already in place and you're just going to have to make little tweaks for it. So I hope that helps also. Debbie just bought one, had it for 2 weeks. Awesome. Hopefully you're using it. Take the 2 weeks, do your breathing, and then see where you are from there. Why considering selling it? Okay. Hopefully we change your mind on that or sell it. I don't know. Rachel, yes, this makes sense. I'm excited to use it. Awesome. It's super, super fun for sure. So glad you're explaining this. I was considering returning it, but now I'm understanding how to properly use it. Yay. Okay, Debbie, here's the thing. Once you get your first 2 weeks down, then you can start adding in some other breaths, right? So here's how my day goes, if this will help you guys as well. I start first thing in the morning with my breath. Then I go and I do my workout. There's not much time between when I do my first reading and when I work out, so I don't do a pre-workout breath. It would just be redundant. I do my breath. I go do my workout. About 30 minutes when I'm done with my workout, I breathe again just to make sure that I actually converted, right? Energy sources, and my workout got me into fat utilization mode. Then I kind of go along my day. If I got a 2, like I did this morning, which I showed you guys in the beginning, if I got a 2, after my workout, because I started a 3, I want to see if my body eventually got to a 1. So I'll do another reading a couple hours after my workout and after I've had coffee. But if I would have had a 1 post workout and I woke up at 2, I wouldn't test myself again until I got done with my feast. So about 90 minutes after. So I really only breathe once, twice, maybe 3 times in a day, and that's it. I'm done. And I just keep rinsing and repeating that process also. So it doesn't have to be super labor intensive. The more you breathe, the more intimate the lumen becomes with you and your own metabolic makeup. So the more you breathe, the more detailed feedback you're going to get. The less you breathe, it's going to be okay as long as you get that morning consistently every single morning, because you're going to get a metabolic, you're going to get that flex score updated every Monday morning. So if you skip a morning, that's going to skew your number as well. So just keep that one in mind for sure. Karen, I just got mine too, trying to get the hang of it, but I think I'm getting it. This chat is perfect timing. Perfect. I'm so glad. And remember, this is a highly scientific piece of equipment, right? This kind of testing was only available in hospitals and very high end, like physical training type of facilities. And so for the everyday person to get this, we have to recognize that there is a little bit of a learning curve, right? We need to make sure that we give ourselves some grace and some patience when we're putting this into our lifestyle. It did take me several months to buy in to the feedback that I was getting from this. And so once I really started understanding my own body, I started doing the research with the nutritionist in my pocket and really going, okay, but this is where I feel my best. And this is the advice that I'm getting. How can I find a nice complement in the middle? And when I really started doing that, that's when I really started getting the results I was hoping for. And I feel fantastic, right? And I can take a lot of that guesswork out of what to do with my nutrition. Rachel, do you use before getting out of bed, or is it okay to get up and drink morning water? Okay, so I get up, get my daughter off to school. I drink 25 ounces of water. I sit down. I give myself a couple minutes to just relax and decompress from the rush of the morning. And then I take a breath into my lumen. So I make my bed. I do all of those kind of things. And so it's probably about 30 minutes, 45 minutes post wake up. Again, just like everything else, like I teach with intermittent fasting, you have to make sure that it fits into your life. I can't overhaul my life to breathe into a lumen. So I fit it in where I can fit it in, where it makes the most sense for me to get the most accurate result, breath possible in my day. So hopefully that helps. And if you have to like drive to work, if you have to get up and get out of the house and drive to work, that sitting down and driving is going to give you that time to rest, right? And kind of just bring your body back down, and then just sit in your car for a minute, take your breaths, get your reading, and go on with your day. I know people who actually meditate before they take their breath on their lumen just to lower their morning cortisol levels, and they get a better reading that way as well. So you have to play with that, around with it, and see how your life is kind of unfolding with it as well. Karen, I often run out of breath too soon. Okay, yeah. So that's where you got to go into that practicing part of your app and just practice breathing, just like anything else. We unconsciously breathe throughout the day. It's like we don't have to think about it when we have to sit down and think about it. And then the other layer that a lot of us don't think about is we're being judged, right? So we're breathing with the anticipation of a number we want to see. And so we're nervous. And so you just have to relax. Just know that the information that you're getting from your lumen is feedback off of something you already did the day before. No judgment, right? We take the information and we make more informed decisions, or better informed decisions for our next day. So take the judgment out, take the nervousness out, take all that out, and just take it as a gift you're giving yourself to sit down and take a nice inhale and a nice exhale, and then just let it be what it is, and just take the judgment out. I think that's where a lot of people are getting held up too. Michelle, so you have to pay a membership for a fee to use the lumen. Yeah, I'm going to put the link for the Lumen in the comment section for you guys. So I do have a $50 off code that you can use if you want to get started with the Lumen. They do have a subscription. I recommend getting the year or 18-month subscription just because it does take several months to get, up and running with it. But again, if you're one of those people who's frustrated with your weight, you're frustrated with nutrition, you're constantly buying into people's meal plans and nutrition advice because you don't know what to do for yourself, this is a great investment because you're getting feedback and you're getting advice based on you as the individual, and you're not going to be fed something that's made for the masses. So I think it's worth every single penny and will end up saving you money in the long run because you won't be grasping at things as a quick fix. You're going to have all the information you need, and then you just got to make some decisions for sure. Sandy, I've already told my children that they can help me buy a Lumen for my birthday and Mother's Day. Well, there you go, girlfriend. What a great gift. And what an excellent Valentine's Day gift, right? And remember, when you use my code DYANN on the Lumen site, I put the link there also, you can save $50, an extra $50. I think they're constantly having sales on their site as well. And if I hear of a sale, I'll always make sure that I share it with you guys if it's even bigger than the $50 off. But it's worth the subscription because you're getting information about how to improve your metabolic flexibility. And improving our metabolic flexibility is exactly everything that we're doing here in this community in creating a long, healthy life for ourselves. And you don't have to do that guessing anymore. You're going to get all that feedback. Debbie, I'm using it. Just got my first flexibility score of 11.8. Well, there you go, girlfriend. So 11.8 is right in that mid range, right? So now you get to make informed decisions. Do you want to make some changes to increase that metabolic flex score? Are you comfortable with the lifestyle that you have? You're not battling anything. You're not frustrated with weight. You're good. Maybe that's just where you are right now based on the life that you're living. And then if it's not, and you do want to make some changes, then take the feedback that it's giving you and play around with it for a month or two and then see what kind of changes you're making as well. And then just make sure you're also set up on the right track, right? So make sure if you want to lose weight, you're on the weight loss track. If you're trying to gain muscle, you're on the fitness track. If you're really just happy with where you are and you want to maintain or improve your metabolic flexibility, then pick that track as well. Michelle, I want a Lumen, but I'm confused. If I pay almost $300 for the Lumen, then I have to pay for it to work after that? No. So once you get it, once you pay for the Lumen, you're on the subscription and then you don't have to pay anymore. You're just part of the subscription part for however long you subscribe to it. There's nothing else you have to pay. And then if you use my code, which is $50 off, you only have to pay $250, depending on what track you get. So, if you amortize that over the year, it's really an inexpensive tool to help you live a very long and healthy life for sure. So hopefully, Michelle, that cleared that up for you. Cindy, I came across you accidentally, but I find this information very interesting. I guess I need to follow you. You can't have black coffee in the morning. Yeah, you can have black coffee in the morning. You can have anything that's not going to create a metabolic change before you breathe in your Lumen. So you can have black coffee if you know, in fact, that doesn't create any kind of like energy exchange for you. I don't have coffee until I'm done working out. And so I just have water in the morning before I breathe in my Lumen. But either way, you can figure that out for you. So again, I put the link there. I put my code. If you want to go check it out, please use my code, save yourself the $50, invest in a year of you improving your overall health and metabolic flexibility. It is so worth it. It is super fun if you make it fun. It's super freeing if you make it freeing. I love manipulating my body. I love using food and fitness and monitoring my sleep. Like the biggest aha for my husband and I was figuring out that when we stop our feast between 5 and 5:30 in the evening, our metabolic exchange rate from the night to the morning is exactly what we need it to be, right? If we eat too late in the evening, we tend to wake up with higher numbers. So we need that time between our last feast, a good night's sleep, and then waking up in the morning for our body to make that conversion of how it's utilizing and storing energy. So that's a big aha moment, and it's a super easy fix, right? And so if you can recognize that in how your schedule is going, then you don't have to ask anyone anymore, like, when should I start my fast and when should I start my feast? This is going to give you all that feedback based on how your body is taking in that that energy and how it's utilizing it and converting it in your own body. So it's super fun if you kind of use it that way. And then Chris, does the Aura Ring connect to the Lumen with your sleep data? No, but the Aura Ring connects to my Apple Health, and my Apple Health connects to my Lumen. So I get my sleep hours update through my Apple Health app, and my Aura Ring connects to that. The same thing with all of my workouts. So my workouts go to my health through my I use an app called Zones on my watch that goes to my Apple Health app, and the Apple Health app goes to my Lumen, and then all of that information gets uploaded in that day's activity. And so tomorrow morning, when I go to blow in my Lumen, it's going to see all the stuff I did the day before. And then you can also add your workouts for the day as well. So super cool the way it all connects, for sure. Will this help those of us? I don't even, let me see. Will this help those of us that take thyroid medication? Okay. So it will help your metabolic flexibility and your overall general health. Will it specifically help a thyroid condition? There's a lot of factors at play there. I know with what I teach in the intermittent fasting for today's aging woman course, we have several women who have been either taken off thyroid medication or severely reduced the amount that they have to take because their overall health improved. So the big picture is you have to improve your overall health. You have to look at what kind of nutrition you're taking in, what's the quality of food. Again, it's sleep, it's hydration, it's how you're managing stress. All of those things factor in as we start to break down as we age. So big picture, it will probably help you, but the Lumen's not going to be the single thing that's going to change what's going on with your thyroid. You have to take the overall approach of general health for sure. Which track are you using and why do they vary in price? It's the length of time that you're getting your subscription that varies in price. So I think it's 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months. So you just have the app use for that amount of time. So that's what varies the price. But if you're talking about like the track with inside the app, that's just going to be your personal goals. So again, it's the time that you have the subscription that's going to vary the price, and the $50 off, I think, works for all three. And then what do the higher priced models offer? More time. So it's a time-based subscription, regardless of what I believe, what subscription you get all the features. And it's just a matter of, do you want to use it for 6 months? You're going to have this forever. So how long do you want to use the feedback from the app and the information available in the app? Do you want to use it for 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months? I always recommend either the 12 months or the 18 months because the learning curve is a real thing. It's going to take you a couple of months to get really comfortable with it, develop the habits, make the changes that you want. And then to maintain what it is that you gained from using it, you're going to want to continue to breathe into the app, right? Because this is what I call anticipation feedback. I use this as a way of going, okay, what do I want my number to be in the morning? I want it to be a 1 or a 2. I give myself some grace to occasionally have a 3. So the decisions I make today are what I'm anticipating I want my number to be tomorrow, given there might be things going on in my body that I don't have control over, right? And so it allows you to make informed decisions. It's sort of like having that little like friend on your shoulder that's going to remind you all the time of making good decisions or making decisions based on what it is you say you want. Like, are you going to skip your workout today? Well, if I skip my workout today, that affects my number tomorrow. If I don't fast today, it's going to affect my number tomorrow. If I eat that thing, that maybe isn't on my plan for the day, it's going to affect my number tomorrow. My friend's always sitting here reminding me that I'm going to have to like face the reality of the decisions I make on what my number is going to be tomorrow. So I love it for that as well. It's like having an accountability partner with you all the time, which I love. Okay. So hopefully that answered that, Erica. When you go in to check the link, just read through. It'll have descriptions of what it is, but the app is what the app is. And then the length of time that you're going to be subscribed is going to be the thing that's going to reflect the price. I recommend not doing anything less than the 12 months because it takes a couple months to get into it. And then you don't want to be off right when you're starting to find your groove. It does take some time. This is not a quick fix. It is not, it's not going to fix you. It's not going to change your mindset. It's going to give you information. And the way you manage that information is going to determine emotionally how you feel. And then that's going to ultimately decide the actions you take. And then consistency over time with that model is going to be the thing that's going to ultimately get you what it is that you say you want with a healthy lifestyle. And that's ultimately what we're all looking for sure. Okay, Erica, I think you got that for sure. Okay, cool. Any other questions before we're off for today? I know today was a little bit long. I do apologize for it being long, but I know that there has been some frustration in the world of intermittent fasting and the Lumen, and people have purchased it and are frustrated with it and are throwing it in drawers and wanting to send it back. And I'm going to highly recommend and encourage you to not do that. Go back to day one. Commit to breathing in your Lumen at least in the morning for 2 weeks. You can also reset your flex score, right? So if your flex score is just kind of crazy right now because you haven't been consistent with your breathing, today's a Monday. Just start tomorrow if you didn't breathe in it today. If you start tomorrow, know your flex score is not going to be as accurate as it could be if you took a breath every day this week, and consistently start breathing every single morning until you get that flex score that's going to tell you where you are because you committed to 2 weeks, right? Then you make your decisions on what you're going to do with the nutrition recommendations and the fitness recommendations based on what it is you say that you want. Okay, let's see what Eric has to say. I've been IF for 6 months and definitely needed that prep to be consistent. Yes, for sure. For sure. Intermittent fasting is a great way to just reset your energy tanks, right? And help your body switch from carbohydrate utilization to fat utilization. That's why we teach the 20-hour fast and the 4-hour feast here in this community. It does give you ample time to drain the tanks and prepare your body for the energy you're going to put back in it when you have your next feast. Debbie, no, this has been great. Now I feel like I know what I'm doing. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so what I will do is I'm going to try to do it like once a month. We'll do a Lumen check-in and a Lumen update, and I'll answer any kind of questions that you guys have. You making this purchase and utilizing the information that's available inside the app. I'm telling you guys, there's probably tens of thousands of dollars worth of nutritional advice and coaching advice inside your app. Spend some time playing with it. Click on articles, click on the app, get familiar with where things are. And then before you know it, it'll be fun for you because you will have eliminated the frustration. And then you are a power-packed metabolic machine because you are going to make informed choices based on what your body's doing and not what someone is assuming you are doing because you're part of a mass group of people. We don't want to live that way anymore. Rachel, this has been so helpful. Going to practice breathing this week and start next week. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, practice. Take your time. Again, this is why I say investing in the 12 months or more subscription is going to be beneficial to you because you're not going to feel rushed, right? And then what are you going to do after 6 months? You don't want to stop using this because it's going to be the thing that's going to keep you on track with making those decisions and have that little friend giving you advice on your shoulder and making sure that you have that anticipation of what you're expecting your body to do tomorrow. It's not a guessing game. Your body's going to give you a direct piece of feedback based on decisions you've made. If you don't like the feedback, make better decisions is what I always say. Okay, that's it for today, you guys. Have a great Monday. I will see you on Thursday. Back here, we'll talk about intermittent fasting again. And tomorrow on Instagram, we're going to talk about why you should stop working out in 2022 and what you should do instead. So if you follow me on Instagram, I hope to see you there tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a great rest of your day. Get your Lumen out. Take some breaths. See what that does for you as far as what you're doing in your decision-making process. And I hope you all live a happy and healthy life for sure. See you guys later.